Hello, I'm Sophia Micsa, a 10th grade high schooler, and today I will be going over basic concepts about the cardiovascular system in a simple way so that all ages can understand. In this video, we will be going over components and functions of the cardiovascular system, circulation's path, common conditions that affect the cardiovascular system, several fun facts, and more. The cardiovascular system is a crucial part of your body. Without it, we wouldn't be able to live. It's made up of your heart, blood, and blood vessels. The blood vessels consist of arteries, capillaries, and veins, which I'll discuss more later. The cardiovascular system works together with the pulmonary system to oxygenate blood before sending it to the rest of the body. Without the help of our lungs, blood would be useless, as it wouldn't be able to supply our body with oxygen. Your heart is about the size of your clenched fist. It lies in the front and middle of your chest, behind and slightly to the left of your breastbone. It is a muscle that pumps blood to all parts of your body and helps to deliver a supply of oxygen and nutrients from your blood to the cells in your body. Blood vessels also remove carbon dioxide and other wastes. More functions of blood in circulation include that it removes the waste products of metabolism to the excretory organs for disposal. It protects the body against disease and infection. Blood clotting stops bleeding after injury. It transports hormones to target cells and organs, and it helps to regulate body temperature. There are two types of circulation that I will go over, pulmonary and systemic. The first thing to remember about pulmonary circulation is that pulmonary is defined as relating to lungs. So from that, we know that this circulation involves blood moving between the heart and the lungs. Blood without oxygen comes into the right side of your heart and is sent to the lungs to get oxygen and get rid of carbon dioxide. Oxygenated blood then comes back through the left side of your heart and this is where systemic circulation comes in. Systemic circulation moves blood between the heart and the rest of the body before and after the blood gets oxygenated by the lungs from pulmonary circulation. The right side of the heart pumps the blood through the pulmonary arteries to the lungs, and then after it goes through pulmonary circulation, it gets pumped out by the aorta and systemically circulates to the rest of the body. Let's get more detailed and talk about the path that blood follows through the heart in order to get to its final destination, which are the cells in our body. Blood always follows the same route throughout your heart. Valves along the route make sure the blood is going the right way. First, the deoxygenated blood enters the heart through the superior vena cava or inferior vena cava. The blood that goes through the inferior vena cava comes from the lower part of our body, below the heart, while the blood that goes through the superior vena cava comes from the upper part of our body. Both of the vena cavas lead to the right atrium. After the right atrium, the blood is sent to the bottom part of the heart, which is the right ventricle. Then the path of deoxygenated blood continues as it is sent through the pulmonary artery and into the lungs. The lungs then oxygenates the blood and sends back the oxygen-high blood into the left atrium through the pulmonary vein. The left atrium then leads into the left ventricle. The blood is then sent to the highest point of the heart, which is the aorta. Lastly, the aorta pumps the oxygenated blood to the rest of the body so that it can be transferred to several of our body cells and we can get the vital nutrients that we need. A heartbeat contracts and relaxes. When it contracts, blood goes into the vessels, which gets pumped to the lungs and body. When the heart relaxes, the heart gets filled with more blood coming from the upper chambers. Then that cycle repeats. In a normal heartbeat, the atria contract while the ventricles relax. Then the ventricles contract while the atria relax. There are valves through which blood passes between ventricle and atrium. These close in such a way that blood does not backwash during these pauses between ventricular contractions. The right and left ventricles are divided by a thick wall known as the ventricular septum. This is in order to prevent oxygenated and deoxygenated blood from mixing. The walls of the left ventricle are thicker as it has to pump blood to all the tissues compared to the right ventricle, which only pumps blood as far as the lungs. Blood gets transported to and away from the heart with the help of veins, venules, arteries, and capillaries. Veins take oxygen-poor blood back to the heart. An example is our biggest vein, the inferior vena cava, which I mentioned earlier. Venules are very small veins that help carry blood back to the heart. Arteries carry oxygenated blood away from the heart. To remember this easier, arteries starts with an A so that you can remember that it takes blood away from the heart. Arteries branch and become smaller arterioles, which feed oxygenated blood to capillaries. Capillaries connect the arterioles with the venules and have the important job of helping to distribute the nutrients and oxygen in our blood to our body's tissues. Red blood cells are a type of blood cell that is made in bone marrow and found in the blood. Red blood cells contain a protein called hemoglobin, which carries oxygen from the lungs to all parts of the body. Anemia can develop if there is a lack of healthy red blood cells to carry enough oxygen to our body's tissues. That's why hemoglobin and healthy red blood cells are very important in order to prevent illnesses like anemia. In order to not develop something like anemia and make sure the cardiovascular system functions well, make sure to exercise regularly, control high blood pressure, control high cholesterol, quit smoking, eat healthier foods, and stay at a healthy weight for your height. According to a cardiology expert by the name of Dr. Elizabeth Nabel, if you don't maintain enough of these, you can develop diseases such as heart disease. However, if you don't do a few of these, you might be fine. For example, if a person has high blood pressure and smokes, but their blood cholesterol is normal, then they may not develop anything because they don't have enough risk factors to cause anything bad to happen. Common conditions and disorders that affect our cardiovascular system include things such as arrhythmia, which is abnormal heart rhythm, heart attack, heart valves that don't work right, heart failure, which is simply the weakness in the ability of your heart to pump, aneurysm, which is weak artery walls, stroke, which occurs when blood supply to part of the brain is interrupted or reduced, atherosclerosis, which is plaque in the arteries, and vascular diseases, which are diseases involving blood vessels. You might have heard of some common tests to check the health of your cardiovascular system, some of which include electrocardiogram, or EKG, which records the electrical signals from the heart, blood tests, echocardiogram, which uses sound waves to make a picture of the heart and valves, stress tests, which is a treadmill test, sometimes with imaging, cardiac CT, which uses x-rays and a computer to make cross-sectional images, cardiac MRI, which is a large magnet and radio waves that create images. Lastly, here are some fun facts that you may have not known about the cardiovascular system. The heart weighs approximately 8 to 12 ounces. The heart pumps 100 gallons of blood through the body per hour, enough to fill 1,600 drinking glasses. A normal resting heart rate for adults ranges from 60 to 100 beats per minute, and the heart beats around 115,000 times every day. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new and that this was easy to understand. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or ask them in the comments below. Thank you.